So, as a solution, when it comes to people who provoke a response out of you, you now need to adopt a solution where you provoke yourself to solution oriented projects. That you realize that this is a project that requires a solution. That means inherent in me is problem solver. So, whatever someone else has said about me has been a lie. There is some truth in what they have said, not them calling me a problem, but there may be problems that I need to take note of. Again, you may be the generational person to bring about change. So then if the problem is all of our girls, each each generation has gotten pregnant at 13 years old. Okay, we need to solve that problem. Okay, I'm the first one who did not get pregnant, so therefore I'm the generational change. I didn't get pregnant at 13, so I surpassed them. That doesn't make me better than them. It's just that I just invalidated that generational curse. That's a problem that needed to be solved. All of us in our family, all the women have gone through at least two divorces, and now we're working on a third marriage. Okay, one of us, the next generation needs to get a husband, or the husband get married and stay married to death do you part, because that's the command. So somewhere, some of us are not understanding that that's a command. So therefore, if you're in an abusive situation, no, you're not going to stay in that situation. No, I got it. I get it. However, it's the first choice that you need to be mindful of, because you did not have to choose the abuser. Abusers show you who they are early. They do not wait 5, 10, 15 years into the marriage to begin abusing you. They started to abuse you even when you were dating and courting. You just ignored it. It looked like love. It looked like love. And so you didn't pay attention to it, but they were abused. They said something stupid about your clothes. They said something about your hair. They acted like you had to submit to them. They punished you. They exacted some vengeance on you. That's all abuse, whether it's physical, emotional, psychological, mental, or spiritual. It's all abuse. So when you are thinking about provoking yourself, meaning that you are now going to shed off whatever has been said about you in a negative way to keep you in an emotional stuck, but you're now reassessing what has been said about you to look at it from a logical lens in terms of life and how people get turned around by life. And so then that, when you look at the different problems that they were trying to call you and make you out to be, those problems could be bullet points that you create as a woman's workshop, a writing workshop, anything like that. Now those problems, instead of staying in emotional stuff, now those problems serve as guidelines for what you want to do later in writing a book, or taking a psychology course, working on a job. They serve as like a checklist. It can be a checklist, it can be a light bulb, it can be a number of things that you can use to guide you on your new path, right? So then when you provoke yourself to solution oriented projects, you're saying that you are a problem solver, and that the goal is to set boundaries with family, friends, and romantic relationships. And there are boundaries, and then there are life areas where you may need to set boundaries. So, boundaries, limits, or guidelines people set within their relationships that define what is safe, acceptable, and reasonable ways other people can behave with them. So, in other words, this is a boundary that you cannot cross. Don't cross this boundary. If you see a person who says, I don't care about your boundary, I'm going to do whatever I want to do, then that is a person that you may give the benefit of the doubt, have a sit down conversation and discussion, and sort of correct the behavior in that way, right? Not telling them that you are correcting the behavior, but telling them, no, I'm telling you, this is what I don't like. But if they let time go, and a lot of times people who like to push their own way, they let just a week pass, sometimes a day, and they turn around and do exactly the same thing again, then that is something that you're going to have to make a decision about. Either that person is going to stay in your life and you're going to remain friends and still struggle with them crossing your boundaries, or you're going to say no, no longer we no longer can be friends, because I keep trying to tell you that this you are crossing a boundary, and you are wanting to cross and you want to continue to do so. Always remember, abusers escalate. So as much as they'll say, okay, I'm not going to do that anymore, but then you'll be riding in the car with them, and they'll say, okay, let me go to the store right quick, and they go into the store, and then they don't rob the store, and then they have you as the getaway driver. People escalate. Every time you try to set a boundary, they get upset about that. It's the toddler syndrome. They get upset about that. They don't like it, so then they'll try it. They come from it. They approach you from a different angle. Okay, and so it comes in, it's in different ways. Like if it's a finances issue, here it is, a person needs to ask you $25 per week so they can pay their gas. Instead of looking at their finances and setting aside $25 a week so they can make sure that they can pay their gas, right? And so there was a time I had to set boundaries with my mother. I had school money. I ran my mouth and told her how much money I was getting from school money, and she wanted to borrow money. And so then, like a people pleaser at that time, I said, "Oh no, I just give it to you." So then I would give her money out of that check. And so then by the time I got to the end of the semester, I didn't have my rent for the next month before the next round of scholarship money came. And so then I would turn around and ask her for money. What was a gift to her, she made a loan to me. So not only did she loan it to me, which I had to pay that back, then she would ask for more money. So then I had to start praying and ask God, Lord, I can't keep doing this. And I didn't know I needed to pray, but I needed help. I just couldn't handle it on my own. So I prayed. And so it was God who told me, tell her, I still gave her, I still gave her money, but it was a loan this time. I said, and I told her, I said, yeah, this is going to be my February rent or March rent or something like that that I'm giving you. That changed the dynamic of our relationship. She became even more hostile. She was already hostile, right? She was already hostile from the time I was a child, but she became even more hostile in that situation because then she had to pay it back. And so when she realized she had to pay it back, she kind of stopped asking, or she still asks, but then I had to keep telling her that it was this or that or whatever. So then it came to a head one later where I couldn't do it anymore because then I was about to enter my correction period, so I didn't have the money to give her. And so then she couldn't get money from her. And so then she, because of all those times that she was crying wolf, she actually began to struggle. That's why it never benefits you to give in to people, because eventually life has a way of coming back around and sitting you down and correcting you, because it was wrong for you to do it in the first place. And now you are, I missed all that opportunity to learn how to manage my own finances because I was so busy trying to cover other people, not just her. So then when I became homeless, and I actually had to end up going and live with her for a time, um, um, when I became homeless, um, it was a lot. It was all a lot of it was due to me trying to cover everybody else but myself. And so you have to learn how to prioritize. You don't have the money to help people, even if your rent is $1,200 and you have $2,400 in the bank. You may say, well, oh yeah, I got the money, sure, let me give it to you. No, you don't. The $1,200 that you have is for the current rent. The $1,200 that's left over in the bank account is for the next month's rent. The only time you can really determine if you can do anything for someone, especially financially, is how, if you have 7,500 to $10,000 in the bank. But then that is also predicated on your emergency savings goal. If your emergency savings goal was 10,000, you don't have it. Unless that person is going through a natural disaster situation, you don't have it. But if you have $10,000 in the bank, but your emergency savings goal was 7,500, then yes, you have it. You take from the 2,500, and you set goals with that. You're not going to give the whole 2,500 either. So provoke yourself to solution oriented projects is basically suggesting that the people who have called me a problem have been lying to me all this time, and that I'm actually a solution, a change, a generational change maker. At the same time, I can figure out what it is that they were trying to project onto me and use it as a guide to bring about change. So now my goal is to set boundaries with family, friends, and romantic relationships while I develop in this area. And so your life area is going to be mind, body, and soul always. Finances, emotions, mental health, career or business, house, home, and life. Your life. This is your life. And you have every right to your life. And you don't, and no one has the right to take your life and assume control of your life. We stay in a lot of these types of toxic situations too long, to the point that the person ends up taking our life, or we become homeless as a result, and that's not right. So provoke yourself to solution oriented projects, something that you can sink your teeth into and study and love and grow from, and that's going to require you to set boundaries with family, friends, and romantic relationships. All right, so thank you very much for listening to this series. Visit, subscribe, and follow so you can find my website, reginayfavors.com. I'm on YouTube, of course, youtube.com/ at Regina Y Favors. And then my Amazon author page is amazon.com/author/ Regina Y Favors. So do take some time to think about some of the ideas that I went through in this particular Shake the Dust Off Your Feet series. I don't know if I'm going to have a book component. I'm not quite sure just yet, but it is something that I am considering. So I do hope that you will listen to the full series. I'm going to have it in full as one video length, and then I'm going to have it separate as well. So thank you very much for listening. Please visit, subscribe, and follow. Have a great day.